Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Jay Hauser Writes. I'm Jay Hauser and I write books. So join along with me. Let's talk about things we hate. Okay, so maybe not that bad, but tropes that I cannot stand within romance. And I think I'm gonna get some people that agree with me. There might be some people that disagree, so let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with a controversial one, which is love triangles. Most people, not big fans. Me, generally not, but there's an asterisk, like literally on my notes that I have written down. There's an asterisk. And there's a video that I already have posted in defense of love triangles. So over there I will discuss kind of the pros and cons and how to do it. You can argue with me about that one over there, but I will just say in general, not something I enjoy all that much. The next one, which I find particularly disturbing in the young adult genres or category, is the super old dude to the teenager. So it wasn't long ago that I read Mistborn and people were totally shipping Kelsier and Vin, and I'll be honest, when I first started to read, I was like, is that supposed to be her love interest? Cause she's like a teenager and he's like in his 30s. Spoiler alert, they are not. But you've got a Bella Twilight where you're like, how many how many years older? Like, why are you going after, how mentally and emotionally immature are you to want someone that's that young and angsty and stuff? I at least need a very thorough explanation about how this is okay. I don't know, like I get it in some ways because these are like paranormal fantasy things, but also I really don't get it. The logistics bother me. And you know what? I don't think it used to bother me as much till someone else pointed it out. So if I'm that person for you, I'm sorry. Maybe I've ruined a lot of different works for you. But why? Why? I mean, that's like me saying I want to date a teenager. I don't. And I cannot imagine 100 years from now that I would want to even more. The next one is the abusive / stalker boyfriend. Not a fan. If you're entering her house to stare at her while she sleeps without her approval, that's not okay. If you're tracking her on her phone without her permission, just because you want to keep tabs on her and pummel guys that look at her wrong, that's also not okay. If you've hurt her and then you decide that you're good and you've overcome your emotional trauma problem, no, you don't deserve her anymore. Maybe you deserve someone down the road, but you don't deserve her anymore. Not a fan. Nope. Going kind of along with that is the cheater. No, don't. Break it off and then move on. That's how it should work. Next up is the sexaholic / irresistible love interest. I know that's actually a thing in fantasy. What are they called? I don't know. You know, irresistible, like literally that's part of their thing. But in general, a lot of times when I read this, I just think, is this wish fulfillment? That literally every person wants to be with the main character, or even if it's a side character, that everyone wants to be with him, or that that's all that they think about. Which, don't get me wrong, there are people that are addicted to that, and there are people that have no interest in that. There's a whole spectrum of romance and sexuality and such out there, but I am just not drawn to those kind of characters because I just feel like it's so over the top. The next one, you might hate me, and this is more of a character thing, but you know, within the romantic spectrum, is bad boys. I don't really like bad boys. Now, I mean, to some extent. What I mean is jerks, which kind of goes back to like the abusive, stalker, cheating in some ways, but sometimes they're just jerks. And if they're a bad boy with, you know, against the system and rebellious without like a reason, and you know, maybe somewhere down the path we might find out his reason. Did it justify his actions? There's a balance there. And I usually just really like the sweethearts. So falling in love with a bad boy, I don't know. That's just, I think that's a very me thing. I have a feeling some of you definitely are going to disagree on that one, and that is okay. Also, another one that people are going to not love me about is fated mates. I'm not a fan. Now, Am I a fan for people that feel like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting my whole life for you, or we have this some magical draw to each other? Like, sure. But if it's literally like, I imprint on you, you are mine, you have no free will, like, not a fan. They should have free will to choose, and it's just kind of that simple. Like, I want people to choose, I want people to grow together, not just to be that moment of we have to be together because it's a thing. At least I haven't really seen it where I love it. Granted, I will say that a lot of this comes from wolf or werewolf, paranormal fantasy, and I think I'm just tired of it. I think it's not my thing, but it might be yours. Obviously, a lot of people like it. It's a genre that I think are doing pretty darn healthy. A lot of shifter romances going on out there and reverse harems and whatnot. You do you, just not for me. And the last one, which kind of goes along with that, the lack of agency within a relationship, is ownership. So that can be, you know, slave to slave owner, or a lot of different ways. Just very much, I own you. It's very unhealthy balance. Now, do all relationships in fiction have to be healthy? Heck no. I like to see some growth. I do like to see some dysfunctional things and them even maybe working through it. And when it comes down to it, like when I read my characters, I think, okay, like she's gone through this trauma, he's gone through this trauma, here's how they complement each other, and here's how they end up at the end. And I say, okay, but is that healthy the way they are? And at some point I have to say, I'm not their therapist. And we're all a little bit broken in one way or another. And so no, maybe that isn't the most healthy relationship. But if I want it to be a happily ever after, I want it to be a believable and somewhat happy relationship. I want to see that it could go somewhere and it could stay somewhere in a good place. If you want to see love tropes that I do love, I have a longer video because there's a lot that I really do love. And you know, if there's something that you absolutely can't stand that I missed, let me know down below. Please do subscribe, and also check out my author website, which is the same name as this, jhauserwrites.com, and go check out the works that I am working on. That sounded very eloquent. The novels that I'm working on, some which will be published this very year. So I appreciate your support. I'd love to know. I have a feeling when you put out something out there that you dislike, I have a feeling I'm going to get some hate below. So be nice about what you disagree with, please. Please be nice. And please have a nice day. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.